I'm Priscilla Barrera with the Investing News Network, and here with me today is Robert Mintak, CEO of Standard Lithium. Robert, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for spending time with me.
All right, so we're here at the Cathodes event. How are you finding the conference so far? Any main takeaway?
Well, Standard has been participating all year in the benchmark tour, so I'm very familiar with a lot of the presenters. But today's the first day for the cathode tour, or the cathode event, and I was excited to hear from Eric Norris from Albemarle, and to hear from him that it isn't easy bringing projects online or bringing new supply online, and that really resonates with what we've been saying and really the talking heads in the lithium industry, that discussions around supply glut and a tsunami of new lithium coming on are, they're not based in reality. So that's my main takeaway so far, is it's confirming what we believe ourselves. So we're not drinking our own Kool-Aid. It's more than us that are saying that.
All right, and speaking specifically about the market, what did you expect from 2018 for the lithium market at the end of last year? Were your expectations correct?
Well, 2017 was sort of ended with a bang. Almost all lithium companies, their market caps and the outlook for them, everyone's sales were full of, it was quite a strong end. And retrospectively looking back, we should have seen that there was a correction due. However, the effect of the correction and the reports coming out of some of the banks that really were the catalysts for that, that was unexpected. So 2018, there was a lot of defensive maneuvering going on. We were extremely fortunate in that we closed the financing very early in 2018, which allowed us to not fixate on having to raise capital. We still have a very strong treasury, and we've got projects that are not capital intensive per se, is that we don't need to spend a lot of money developing them, as our flagship project is already primarily in production.
All right, and in your opinion, what was the most challenging aspect of the lithium market this year?
We are focused on project execution, so I try to avoid the noise that circulates around the fixation on share prices. Not to say that investors shouldn't fixate on share prices, they should, but that we shouldn't be distracted by them. We were fortunate, as I highlighted, that we did raise money earlier in the year. We were affected like everyone else. Our share price, was halved, but we've managed to tell a compelling story. We have not really gone to market to really build. We haven't gone out and promoted what we have, because we've been focused on putting together all the key pieces that will allow us to really tell the complete story. And as we've been doing that this year, we've seen at least our share price has started to gain traction, and investors are looking like they're long with us. But for the market itself, the most distracting thing has been the constant having to defend the rationale of why bringing a new project on is important. So that having to explain over and over again that there will be no supply glut, that projects take a long time to build, that projects do need to be built, and that there will be an equilibrium in supply. So trying to avoid being distracted by that while doing our work, that would be the main aspect of, or the main distraction this year.
And what is your take on new battery technology? There's a lot of talk about that at the conference. How do you see it will impact the lithium market?
Well, with regards to new battery technology, so if we break it down into new lithium battery technologies or new energy storage batteries, I don't think anything will be replacing a lithium-ion battery for the next decade. There will be advances in chemistries, and there will be a evolution or a march toward solid state, but all of that requires lithium. The discussions around other batteries, vanadium batteries or zinc batteries, they may have a purpose, but in the bigger scheme, they're not going to impact the they're not going to greatly impact the energy storage market. It will be lithium-based. The key for us as a developer is that we future-proof our production. So when we're looking at our development of our project, our Arkansas project, the final output material, we haven't fixated on producing hydroxide. We haven't fixated on producing carbonate. We're going to look to achieve that being the lowest cost producer on the most optimal materials that our project can deliver, with the path to producing novel new materials as the industry demand develops.
And in the current state of the lithium market, and I think you touched a bit on that, but why should investors look into Standard Lithium?
Yeah, we have a very unique story. Unlike any other project in the world, we're working with a partner and on a project that is by and large already built. So our Arkansas project it's a two-pronged project. We have a 30,000 acre greenfield resource for development, but we're also working on 150,000 acres of fully permitted, fully operating brine production facilities. We're working with a German multinational company, Lanxess. They produce 300,000 to 400,000 barrels of brine every day in South Arkansas. It's extracting bromine from it, and they're putting the brine back into the ground, and the brine is rich in lithium. We've got an agreement with them to pursue the commercial development of taking lithium from that brine. So they produce commercial volumes already. And the agreement we have with them is to install our pilot plant, which can do direct lithium extraction in less than a day from their brine. We can connect it to their pipeline. We can connect it to their waste disposal to put the brine back into the ground. We'll be connecting to their gas, steam, power. There's 500 employees there already. There's a laboratory on site. So it's unlike any other project in the world. I present the project as one of the most advanced projects in the world because it is by and large already in production. They just aren't pulling lithium from it. So when investors see that, and they see that there's not a huge investment if we're successful to demonstrate the lithium extraction through our pilot plant, there's not a huge investment required to bring it into commercial production. There's not a huge challenge with permitting because by and large, all of that's in place already. So it's unique that way. And we have significant news coming out over the next few weeks, months, and into next year.
All right, then. So my final question for you, Robert. What would be some of those company milestones that investors should be excited about maybe looking to next year?
Yeah, so here we are in late October 2018. We've been working in Arkansas for the better part of the last 12 months. And with that, we will have 2 resource reports coming out. So we'll have a resource report out on 30,000 acres of brine leases that we have in South Arkansas. And then we'll have a resource report coming out on 150,000 acres of leases that we're working with Lanxess on. On both reports, the data is amazing because with Lanxess, we're taking brine production data from producing wells. So it's bulletproof data in that those wells aren't test wells. They're not pumping for 24 hours or 7 days. They're pumping every day of the week, every week of the year. And they've been doing that for decades. So the data is bulletproof. As well on the 30,000 acres of leases that we have, because South Arkansas has been so well explored and developed, there was over 250 wells drilled on our land package before we even picked it up. So we were able to re-enter existing wells. It came with 200 miles of 2D seismic already on that. That's information and data we didn't have to pay for. The Arkansas Oil and Gas Commission keeps core samples of wells that have been drilled on our project. So we have a really robust data set. So the 43101s we have coming out will be very strong. Additionally, our agreement with Lanxess is allowing us to install our pilot plant at their operating chemical facility in South Arkansas. So we'll be bringing a pilot plant from Canada, connecting it directly to a pipeline. We don't have to spend our own money to install that. And it's going to be running through 2019. That'll be providing information that'll go into a PEA that we'll have out in early 2019 as well. So we've got some exciting technical information where we'll be able to point to how many tons of lithium are in the ground, and then we'll be able to start to point to project economics all over the next few months.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for letting me tell you about Standard Lithium.